Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Hope your weekend was amazing, productive. Got some time to spend time with some people that you love. Hopefully it was a productive one for you guys. Real talk. We got a story for you guys. I mean, this is something that has been popping off over the weekend. And I wanted to give us a little bit of a break from all the Bryan Kohberger stuff and all the Idaho 4 stuff, because obviously we will be covering more stuff around that here very, very soon. Trust me, I got another live for you guys later on today surrounding all that and more. Trust me. But this morning, I wanted to give you guys something that we needed to talk about. We need to talk about this, y'all. Like, it seems to be an ongoing thing, right? We see a lot of situations with guns, with kids, with guns, etc. It is an ongoing thing that just does not stop. We need to talk about it. We got to talk about it. You know, it's about that time. You know what I mean? And this is a wild story. I don't know. I have so many questions. Like, how do these kids get their hands on these guns? Let's just keep it real. Okay? I mean, that's the main question I have in my head that just keeps rolling over my head over and over and over again. How are kids still being able to get their hands on weapons and bring them into schools? You see the title down below, so this is not a surprise. You know exactly what you're walking into, and it still doesn't make any sense. Okay? Still doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, this is a story nonetheless that we need to talk about today. All right? We definitely need to talk about this. And it's a sad situation. So we're going to get into it. All right? And don't hate on the tree. Okay? I got the tree still up. It makes me smile. Deal with it. Also, I will be taking it down here today. But at the same time, hey, I like it. It makes me smile. Christmas decorations warm my heart. So do whatever it is that makes you happy out there in these streets, okay? So anyway, before we get things moving, before we get things popping, all right, do me a favor. If you're interested in winning 100 smackers, please go and download Swagit app. It is now going to be pinned to the top of the family chat, all right? Pinned to the top of the family chat. So be sure to hit that link, download Swagit app, follow me, The Pascal Show, one word, comment and like some of my videos, all right? And you are instantly entered in to win $100. Again, download the app. The link is right at the top and at the bottom underneath me in the description box down below. Download the Swagit app. Follow me, The Pascal Show, one word. Comment and like some of my videos. I just recently posted one from this morning, so please go and hit that one especially, okay? Comment on some of my videos, and you're instantly entered in to win 100 smackers. It's that simple, y'all, okay? So, also, before we get things moving, please hit that like button down below. Crush it, make it scream out your name. Let's get it past 300 likes. That would really, really mean a lot. This is a wild story. Heartbreaking story. And, you know, I'm sending well wishes, real talk, okay, to the teacher that's involved in this whole situation. So send those likes all the way up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, all right? That would be really greatly appreciated, okay? So let's get into some things, y'all. We got some things to talk about, and this is a wild, wild story. I'm still trying to understand how the heck this even went down. But welcome to the world that we live in. Constantly, we are seeing situations where we are losing our loved ones. Our loved ones are put in harm's way over situations that you never would ever think that would happen, let alone inside of a classroom. But now more and more, every single day, we seem to hear and see these kinds of stories unfold. It seems as if there's at least one gun-related situation a month that happens inside schools that your son, your daughters matriculate at. It's wild and heartbreaking. But we got to get into some things because this is not a very long show. But I wanted to bring you guys some awareness on some things that are going on here. And this is obviously something that's been going on this weekend. And it's still going on right now as we speak. Of course, we do have some updates on the teacher, which we will get to here in just a second. But here it is. A boy aged 6 is arrested after he deliberately aimed at his teacher, his female teacher, inside his first grade classroom at Virginia Elementary School, leaving her at this time, critically ill. Okay? This is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And like I said, there are updates on the teacher, which we will get to in just a minute. But let's get into this article, shall we? So a 6-year-old has been taken into custody after he allegedly deliberately aimed, of course, I got to use these code words, y'all, deliberately aimed at his first grade teacher at his Virginia Elementary School, leaving her, at the time, critically ill. Newport News police have taken a student who has not been publicly identified into custody. The unidentified, soon to be identified, we will ID her. Okay, they did identify the teacher, but at this time, the unidentified teacher, who's in her 30s, was reportedly aimed in the stomach and has been taken to Riverside Regional Medical Center. I heard different. Like the aim or where the bullet actually entered, it went through. It went through the chest, if I'm correct. All right, but then again, news is telling different things. There's different articles and different things coming out right now as we speak. Okay, or over the past 48 hours of this stuff that's been going on. Okay. The individual is a 6-year-old student and is right now in police custody. Newport News Chief Drew said at a press conference on Friday. This is not, they said, and they very much emphasized that this was not an accidental shooting. So this kid grabbed this gun from home, took it to school, and we're still trying to figure out and still trying to find out what actually went down here. What caused this kid to, one, get the weapon, bring it to school, and then next thing, most importantly, what made this child take this gun out of the book bag or whatever, out of the desk, take aim at a teacher, and pull the trigger? What makes a kid do something like this? What was going on here? Still, things are a little in the gray area, but we do have a little bit of details, which we will be getting into a little bit later on in the show. It was in a classroom. An altercation took place. This is according to the chief. We did not have a situation where someone was going around the school doing the unthinkable. We had a situation in one particular location where a gunshot was fired. The incident unfolded at Rich Neck Elementary School, a school for kids aged 5 to 9. And this happened just before 2 p.m. No children were harmed, and police are working to figure out how the child had access to the gun. That's the thing. How did this kid get this weapon? How did the kid get the weapon? And then we're also hearing maybe maybe the parents of this child could be looking at catching charges themselves, which we'll be getting into in just a minute. Okay. A grandmother of one of the students told the Daily Mail, the article I'm reading here, that a student brought shiny gold bullets to school last week, but it's unclear if it's the same child who was taken into custody today. And of course, this is some photos of Rich Neck Elementary School. Of course, teachers, parents are outside, of course, very, very concerned, understandably, when this whole incident went down. This is a scary thought. This is a scary situation. Who would have thought something like this would ever happen? You never think that. You drop your kids off to school, you do your thing, you think that they're safe. You never know what these kids are bringing to show and tell, for crying out loud. It's insane. The grandmother, who asked not to be named, said the child had allegedly brought bullets to the school last week and said he would bring his gun. A parent told the school they did nothing. Now look. So a parent told the school about these said bullets being brought to school, and allegedly the school did nothing. And then, of course, we have this situation that's unfolded. Still very, very scary if you really think about it. Very scary stuff. Speaking to Daily Mail, she said the parents outside stated that their child told them a kid brought golden shiny bullets to the school and was thinking about bringing his gun. The student told the parent, who informed the school. And the school just yesterday got back to the parent saying that the parent of the kid said it was a Nerf bullet. And the parent said Nerf bullets aren't shiny and gold. She's not positive if the child who brought the bullets is the same child allegedly involved in the shooting today. The school, however, does have the capability of metal detecting students. Superintendent Parker said at this press conference, they do not perform the test on every student. They don't do it every day either, but said every school in the district has the capability to do so. When we have a perceived threat or issue, we do random metal detection on those days. So, okay. Now, real quick. I of course I got to ask this because let's just keep it straight funky. So you only do it on certain days. You're not doing it all the time. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that every child is coming in with a weapon. I'm not. But what if there's no threat that day, but a kid still shows up with a weapon? And that's a day that you could have used whatever, your metal detector or your metal detector wand, whatever you have, right? And I'm not sitting here saying that children should feel like they're walking into a prison, but it does seem a bit strange that this happened and this went undetected. That's pretty wild, don't you think? And then they say, we do not perform this on every student every day. So you only do it on particular students? Like, how do you know a student has or does not have said weapon? What are the confines? What's the checklist that you're using to instantly say, oh, this child is not trustworthy. We need to pass that kid through a metal detector, but other ones are okay. That doesn't make sense. Does that make sense to you? Because this kid could be a non-threatening child, right? Flying under the radar and then suddenly just show up with a weapon, unbeknownst to anybody. Oh, I didn't expect that to happen with this child. That's such a big surprise, so on and so forth, right? So then, if the other part too, let's go back into this. It says here, okay, of course, they said that the kid, that they told the school about these said bullets, these gold shiny bullets. But then the parent went back and said that there were Nerf bullets, and Nerf bullets are not shiny and gold. But still, whether this is the child or not, Wouldn't that be a red flag to pass them through a metal detector or something of that sort? You get what I'm saying? So what the heck is this? And make it make sense. Why did they not use metal detection or standard procedures if something was strange going on? Because then if that was strange, and if this was the kid or not, why didn't they do some standard procedure of using the metal detectors, right? So it doesn't make sense to me. Or why don't you just pass all the kids through the thing and just call it a doggone day? It's just weird. Doris Martin, yes, you would think this would be a red flag, yet they don't do nothing. They don't do nothing. They didn't do anything, it seems like. They didn't even perform random checks on any of these kids. Even after somebody said, my kid said that there were gold shiny bullets that were shown to him in class. Why wasn't anything done? You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't make much sense to me here. It doesn't. Again, I get it. Kids don't need to feel like they're prisoners in their own school and all that stuff. I get all that stuff, and I understand that argument. But when you hear about anything, if you hear a teacher say that there were gold shiny bullets, yet the parent of that child pushes back and says, no, there were Nerf bullets, I'd still sweep the school. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And also, CJS Mandy just said, because he's 6. I get because he's 6, but at the same time, they are already doing mandatory or like random checks on these kids. So they clearly are looking beyond the age already. They're clearly already going, I get that these kids be 6. I get they range from 5 to 9, but you just never know. So if you never know, maybe during that time, maybe crank up the security or the metal detection a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just saying what's done is done. But at the same time, it just makes you wonder how this all went down and how the school just, was knew about this, but didn't do anything about it, it seems. But we already said, it was when we have a perceived threat or issue, we do random metal detection on those days. Like I said, if it's a perceived threat, but you see somebody showing up with gold shiny bullets, allegedly, to me, that screams to me a perceived threat or issue, in my personal opinion. Okay? Just in my personal opinion. Okay? So, continue on. Today, our students got a lesson in gun violence. Parker said, we need to keep the guns out of the hands of our young people, and I 110% agree. A British parent of one of the students who is currently based in the U.S., as her husband is in the military, is now demanding the town do something about the gun problem. Guns, that's the biggest problem in this country. Why is there a 7-year-old with a bloody gun? How does a 7-year-old have a gun? Obviously, she didn't know the age of the child, but apparently the child is 6 years old. I'm only here because my husband is in the military. Otherwise, I would not have chosen to come to this country. Parker said the school would be closed on Monday to work on the mental health of our staff and students. Police say the incident is no longer an active situation, and it was an isolated incident. A 6-year-old student told Daily Press the shooter was a classmate. The 6-year-old who witnessed the shooting said her classmate aimed at the female teacher on purpose, and the educator fell to her knees. Man, like I said, this is heartbreaking, mind-blowing, just disturbing information. And again, now we're getting young kids running out here, getting their hands on on guns and doing unthinkable things. And I don't know how this even goes down. I'm still trying to figure out how this even goes down. Okay? I'm still so confused about this. So confused about this. Okay? So, real quick, of course, we want to know the name of all this, of this situation. We want to know the name of the teacher, etc. Which we understand that she is now in better shape. She is obviously in the hospital. At first, it was touch and go, but we now understand that she's doing a lot better. It is really, really crazy. But I'm going to get into this article really quick, this next article. But I know that there have been a few super chats that I want to get to real quick before we head on into more. Uncle Stu, thank you so much for the 5. What's up? Salute. I'm in the city where it took place, so I'm on the ground on the ground of the case. So I fully understand what's going on too. It well, please comment. Let me know what if there's anything big going on. Please let me know. But this is absolutely insane. We have a 6-year-old kid out here thinking that I'm wondering what was going on. What was going through that 6-year-old's head? What got him to do what he did? Right? Mimi, thank you so much for the 2 CHF. Hi, Pascal. Love you and all here. We love you too. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. I think there's one more. Maybe not. I wanted to get those before it gets too far away from me. But now we got some new information. Okay, we got more details. Okay, it wasn't she wasn't shot in the stomach. She was actually shot in the chest. All right. So 25-year-old teacher Abby Zwerner, okay, or Zwerner, sorry. Abby Zwerner was the teacher that was actually shot in the chest. But what's amazing about this is she was deliberately shot in the chest by boy age 6 in Virginia Elementary's classroom. Victim begged kids to flee to safety after being struck. So after she got hit in the chest, she still was trying to get the kids to run away, to get away and find safety. That's amazing. Let me just say that. All right. Absolutely amazing, y'all. So first grader who cops say deliberately shot in the chest, or sorry, first grade teacher who cops say was deliberately shot in the chest by a 6-year-old boy is a 25-year-old heroine who screamed for her students to run for safety. Abby Zwerner, the educator who was struck by the bullet in her classroom at Rich Neck Elementary School at around 2 p.m., which is absolutely crazy. She was rushed to the hospital for surgery after. Officials said earlier this evening that Zwerner was critically injured and no further updates had been shared. Police said the boy, who has not been publicly identified, got into an altercation with Zwerner of Williamsburg before aiming at her. One of the parents confirmed Zwerner's identity to the Daily Mail, the article I'm reading here, and also detailed her selfishness in the immediate aftermath. Her selflessness in the immediate aftermath. She said she screamed at her kids to run away after the student fired a single bullet. Even after she had been shot, she was thinking about the safety of her children, one of the parents said. And here's the teacher, okay? 25 years old, Abby Zwerner, shot in the chest and told the kids to run away. She still was able to say that as she got shot in the chest. Okay? Absolutely amazing. Okay? Absolutely amazing. And it shows the amount of heroicism that this very heroic thing, right? In my personal opinion. It's a pretty amazing thing, in my personal opinion. That shows a lot about how she put her life, literally, still her life was in, she was in dire straits. Okay, she was in dire need of some help, and instead of her doing that, she was going, kids go, run away, etc. That's really, really amazing, in my personal opinion. Okay, I don't know about you guys. I don't know if I'd be saying that. I'd be clutching my chest and, I don't know, on the floor in a ball, not saying anything. So I give this woman incredible props, a mad amount of props, y'all. Okay, his own 6-year-old. This is still from the parent. His own 6-year-old, who did not wish to be who he did not wish to name, was in the classroom when the gunshot went off. My son didn't see what happened. He heard the gunshot go off and turned around to see Miss Zwerner on the floor. She's an amazing teacher, so dedicated. My son absolutely loves her, and we're devastated about what's happened. We're all thinking of her and hoping that she gets better soon. Zwerner was taken to the Riverside Regional Medical Center in critical condition and remains there. She was the only one injured. Thank God she was the only teacher or the only person that was actually injured in this situation. Okay, because this is absolutely crazy that this happened to anyone. Okay, police confirmed 6-year-old student had been the one to fire the terrifying shot, but authorities are still looking into how the first grader managed to get a gun. This is not an accidental shooting. It was in a classroom. An altercation took place there. We did not have a situation where someone was going around the school doing what creating more tragedies and a mass situation. We had a situation in one particular location where a gunshot was fired. A grandmother of one of the students, that a student said, we already know, brought shiny gold bullets to school last week, but it was unclear if it was the same child who was taken into custody. And again, let's keep it real. Let's think about this too. Okay, let's think about this too. What are the chances here? What are the chances of, say, one kid shows up with these shiny gold bullets? Let's just say if that's really the truth, okay? Because it's obviously all just rumor. This is just from one person's, a grandmother saying her perspective and what she heard. Let's just say, what if it was another kid that brought the shiny gold bullets? Let's just say that. But then it inspired another 6-year-old, that 6-year-old, to go, oh, well, you got shiny gold bullets. I have the actual. You see what I'm saying? I have the actual weapon. Let me bring that out and show it to you guys. Maybe. Just makes you wonder, why would this child bring this gun to school unless it was some sort of premeditated thing, had some sort of issue with somebody? I don't know. Then it makes you also wonder, the problem that happened before this child grabbed this weapon. They said that there was an altercation before everything that went down. What was the altercation? What was the altercation? What escalated so much between a teacher and a 6-year-old child that would make this child go to wherever this weapon is, grab it, and take aim? That's the other question. Still, to me, it's so strange. I mean, and it's heartbreaking no matter what. We have covered so many wild stories here, so many issues, so many things that have gone off that we're like, we just never knew X, Y, and Z. We never knew that we would ever talk about anything of this sort. And again, we're looking at something like this right now, but this is screaming that we have a problem here. This is screaming that we have a problem here. If this is, man, What's frustrating is if this ain't enough, I don't know what to tell you. Because the other things that have been going on over the past 20 some odd years ain't enough. Those aren't enough. All the mass tragedies that we've covered on this show over the past 2 years and beyond, okay? For crying out loud, something needs to be done, okay? I just saw somebody say something that's actually fact. Hold on. There it is. Mara Sharice, what's up, girl? How you doing, sweetheart? Nothing has changed. Nothing has. It's just gotten worse. Everything is just, they turned the volume up to 12 and ripped the knob off. Not even 11 anymore. Now it's gone up a notch. It's at 12 now. And they ripped the damn knob off. Has anything changed? Really? Has anything changed? Don't worry. I'll wait. Y'all tell me if something's changed. We got 6-year-olds coming into school with pieces now, y'all. With the heater. Somebody explain that to me. It's bad. It is really, really bad. Before I continue on, I got another super chat, I think. Yep. Joanne Nelson, thank you so much for the 10. I grew up around guns, never touch a gun unless my daddy was with me. P.S. Guns were never locked down. Grew up in 50th. I don't know what grew up in 50th means, but the rest of that, okay. There's something about someone who knows and understands the proper etiquette, if that makes sense, around the handling of a weapon, of a firearm. There are things that you can learn at a very young age, like don't touch it. Ever. You see what I'm saying? This will hurt you, or it will hurt other people very, very badly. What you see on video games is not real life. What you see on TV shows is not real life. You aim this weapon towards somebody, it could very well not only hurt them, maim them, but it could very well take their life. That's it. I understand everyone, right to bear, I get it. But there's got to be an understanding with children. If you're going to do that, if you're going to have it straight up, certain things, certain safety measures, certain precautions should be brought in to things. Because these kids look like, come on, man. These kids is getting insane. It's getting insane. Okay, real quick. Now, I don't have this article in front of me or anything anymore, but it just made me remember. Remember the time? Do you remember the time? Do you remember about the kid who took aim at his own mother? Took his own mother's life because he wanted an Oculus? He may be charged. He may be looking at time as an adult because he went, got the key for the lockbox in which the firearm was in, got the firearm out of that lockbox, turned off all the webcams and security cams that were inside the house, went down to the basement where his mother was folding laundry, stood in a taking aim, a ready-like position, aimed at his mother, and pulled the trigger, taking her life. Another kid that did that. And now that kid is facing time, or is facing charges that could literally have him in prison for the rest of his life. This ain't a game. This isn't Call of Duty. This is real talk. This is real life. And kids are grabbing these guns and they don't know anything about it because either the parents are not teaching them properly or they're just leaving the guns out all willy-nilly. Let's talk about the Crumblies. Remember the Crumblies? Remember that mass shooting that happened? Parents are just laying around, leaving guns out, so on and so forth, getting access to these. And yet, what is going on here? Nothing's changing. Nothing is changing. And it's terrifying. Now you got teachers who are just having maybe it's a kid that acts up a lot. Maybe the kid is a little bit of a troublemaker or not. Maybe it was just a situation where they were just having a little bit of a misunderstanding. And this kid got heated enough to go take it to life or death situations by bringing an actual firearm into the classroom. 6 years old, y'all. 6. Broderick, thank you so much for the 2. Love the channel. Nice to listen and drink. Yes, enjoy your coffee. If you still got it, enjoy it, okay? Thank you so much. It still just doesn't make any sense, y'all. Like, this is bad, y'all. This is very, very bad. And it's a situation that needs to be, like, we need to remedy this with the quickness. And there needs to be, again, like I said, I am not trying to sit here and say anything about your rights, etc. I'm just saying there needs to be a dialogue. If you're going to have those types of things around your children or in the house of your children, that's the thing. The things get very, very dangerous when you have a weapon sitting all willy-nilly, even in a lockbox, around your children. These kids get curious. They watch TV. They play their video games. They watch music videos, whatever it is. Okay? They see videos on YouTube and they think there's no connection, especially the young ones. There's no connection about the reality of life or death. There needs to be a straight up dialogue instantly. And if you have to say it till you're sick of saying it, so what? Keep saying it. Drill it in their heads that this is a very powerful and extremely dangerous weapon, and it should never be touched, ever. And then I don't know what y'all need to do with them lock boxes. Some of them nowadays, like, get creative, y'all. Do extra precaution. Do the ones with the fingerprint scanners and stuff like that. I'm being dead ass. I'm being dead ass because there are kids out here that just happen to get your key when you least expect it, and you know kids be sneaky. Let's keep it real. These kids be they about to get they get Mission Impossible with this stuff. When they really want something, they slick. They'll finesse you even before you even know it, and they 5-6 years old. As soon as you turn back around, boom. What? Where did my son? You know what I mean? They really want something, they will find a way. Okay? Get creative with your stuff. Okay? I got plenty of friends with firearms, got plenty of friends that, have kids. But the thing is that they have all these extra precautions. And yes, I understand when ish goes down, if there's like a zombie apocalypse, oh, God forbid, you have to put your thumb on something and it takes an extra few seconds. I get it. Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, you're not in zombie apocalypse and no one's breaking into your house right now. So you got little minions running around and they get really creative. And when they really want something, they're going to do something. They're going to do whatever they can. Get creative yourselves. Be smarter. Be 15 steps ahead of your own kid because they will find ways. Clearly, they will find ways. How did this 6-year-old get his hands on this firearm? Even if it was locked up. How did he do it? Same thing, I got to remind you. We had another story. A little kid, another little kid. I think he was 10 years old, if my memory serves me correctly. He found the key to the lockbox, went to the lockbox, opened the thing up, fully premeditated, fully knew what he was doing, stole them keys, opened up the lockbox, took the firearm, and took his own mother's life. Some of y'all like to keep these keys on the lockbox on your keychain. I'm just saying, you got to be extra precautious. Maybe it's a safe, one of those thumbprint safes, and then there's a lockbox inside of that mug. I'm being serious. I don't know how else to do it because some of these kids get super creative out here. Super creative. You got to do whatever by any means necessary to make sure your life, your kids' lives, etc. Shoot, even now teachers and other students are safe now. Period. You bring a gun into a house, now you got to think about it. Everyone, not only just your children and your spouse, everyone else that's outside now. Because God forbid some kid goes and gets irresponsible. Man, oh man. Joanne, thank you so much for the 5. Oh, okay. The 50s, yes. But I don't know. We live in a weirder time now, y'all. We live in some crazy time. Okay? We live in a crazy time. So crazy. Judy Barton, thank you so much for the 100 CZK. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Everyone and everything has gone mad in this world. It's really sad. Yes. And what's sad is there are children out here, there are young ones out here that feel that the only way to solve an issue is through grabbing a firearm, is through taking somebody's life off this planet. We see this every day. We're seeing our young brothers and sisters out here taking their lives just because. We see young ones just doing this all the time because what? They don't like the way that they look in some TikTok videos. Their mom ain't giving them a video game that they want, so on and so forth. So because of that, the only solution is to, for lack of a better term, delete that person from this world. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. It just doesn't. I got a couple other super chats, and then I'm going to play this news clip for you guys. I got a couple news clips for you. Jordan, thank you so much for the 5. I think it's time for the Christmas tree to come down, bro. Much love. Yes. The tree is going to be going down today. Okay, for sure. Okay, but this is insane, guys. This is absolutely insane. Okay, now, of course, I got a couple videos that I want to show you, news clips that I want to show you guys. Man, oh man. This is just this type of stuff just we need to find a better way of knowing if you're going to have something like this for protection for your kids and for your family. There's got to be a better way of taking care of these things and making sure that you have a healthy relationship with your kid. Not only the healthy relationship with your kid, but a healthy relationship with your kid to that actual firearm. They don't have to touch a doggone thing. I'm not saying, make the kid, go to target practice with you. Hell no, I ain't saying that. I'm just saying for them to understand that this is a real thing. This is not something to be messed with, period. They need to fully understand that, embrace it, and know that this is not something that you bring to school and take aim at teachers, period.
Details. We're learning about a shooting at an elementary school in Newport News, Virginia. Police say a 6-year-old boy, a first grader, somehow got a hold of a gun and opened fire at his teacher, critically wounding her. ABC's senior investigative reporter Aaron Katursky is here. Aaron, good morning to you. Police say this was not an accidental shooting.
They didn't explain what it was, but they did say, Janae, it is not an accident. And in a country inured to gun violence, what happened at that elementary school in Newport News, Virginia, is truly stunning.
Teacher shot.
This morning, a 6-year-old boy is in custody and a teacher is in critical condition after a shooting at Rich Neck Elementary School.
I'm in shock, and I'm disheartened.
Female victim, she's been shot in the abdomen as well as a through and through into the hand.
Police said the 6-year-old brought a handgun to a first-grade classroom and deliberately shot the teacher.
So if I'm correct, did I hear correctly she was shot twice? She may have been shot twice. This is wild, y'all. Wow.
This was not an accidental shooting.
The school locked down. Officers swarmed in, trying to calm terrified students and bewildered parents.
Instantly, my heart dropped because I'm thinking of the age of these children and what they possibly were going through at that time.
The president of the American Federation of Teachers describing the event as a horrific tragedy, adding that guns shouldn't be in our classrooms, our campuses, or anywhere near our schools. Police did not say how someone so young had access to a gun, but the school superintendent said it represented a breakdown in values.
We need to keep the guns out of the hands of our young people.
There's no school at Rich Neck Elementary on Monday while authorities figure out both how to prevent this in the future and whether the student was known to be a troubled child. The most critical question, though, Whit, how the gun wound up in the hands of a little boy.
And that's what I'd like to know too, right? How did this weapon get in the hands of this 6-year-old boy? Period. How did this happen? Again, this doesn't make any sense. And of course, the school is trying to figure out ways to do this, to do more, etc. Now, I will say this though too. It could have been maybe one shot, like maybe it was through the hand into the chest. That could be it too. I don't know. All we know is that she obviously was hit in the chest. But in this 911 call, you hear them say that there was one in the abdomen and another one through the hand. Right there. As well as through and through the hand. So it says it right there too. So that's the thing. Now, one of the things I wonder, of course, it's obviously devastating that this happened to this teacher and all that. But these are the questions that I have for them. Not only how did this kid get his hands on this weapon, but also what are they going to implement now? Are they going to do metal detectors every single day from now on? Are they going to bring in, I don't know, some sort of program so that children at a young age understand that firearms are not to be messed with and they're not toys. They're not toys to just run around with and act a fool with. That's the question I have, right? What could they do to really make sure that this does not happen in their school anymore, right? Of course, they can do those programs. I would hope that they do, but will that be enough? That's the other ongoing question here. Will that be enough? I got another video for you guys. I got a couple more videos for you guys, but let's take a look at this one too.
A 6-year-old boy is in custody this morning, accused of opening fire at his elementary school on Friday, shooting his teacher, Abby Zwerner. The Newport News Police Department says it was not an accident, adding that the little boy may have shot Zwerner after an altercation. Right now, she is in stable condition, and as school is closed for students today and tomorrow, police are investigating how the elementary school student got that handgun. Robert Patillo is a civil rights and a human rights attorney, and he is joining us live from Maryland this morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So what are the options for prosecuting a child this young? I don't think I've ever seen a case like this before.
Well, actually, this is not as uncommon as people would tend to think. In many gang cases around the country, they will use youthful offenders as young as 5 and 6 years old to commit crimes under the understanding and knowledge that it's very difficult to prosecute them. Under Virginia law, of course, a 6-year-old cannot be charged as an adult. Additionally, though they may be charged juvenilely, the minimum age to serve time in a juvenile facility in the state of Virginia is 11 years old. Therefore, more than likely, any charges that would come would be on the part of the guardians or the parents of the young child. However, we have seen conflicting precedents over whether or not parents can be culpable for the actions of their children in school shootings. Remember, there was a case in 2021 in Michigan where a 15-year-old received a gun from his parents and then shot at the school. The parents went on the run. However, a judge has stayed that case for involuntary manslaughter against the parents. So there's very limited precedence on what exactly can be done legally.
So what kind of treatment will this child receive if you can't put him in juvenile hall and you can't charge him as an adult? You've got to find some way to make sure this child realizes that what he or she has done is wrong. So how does that come about?
Well, I think the biggest issue that law enforcement will be investigating right now is the living conditions of the child. Children are generally deemed to not be able to form what's called mens rea in the law, the mental capacity to know what is right and wrong, and therefore the custodial adults are required to maintain a safe condition for them. In Virginia, it is illegal for parents or an adult to have a gun that is accessible to children under the age of 14, which could be a charge brought against the parents or the guardian of the children. I think also he will be put into social services to determine if he's been the victim of abuse, to find out where the firearm came from, where he learned how to use the firearm, and then hopefully get him the treatment needed so that this does not become a lifelong pattern of crime, but rather that he can be rehabilitated and put back in society.
And I don't want to downplay what this child did. It's horrendous, but I do want to ask you: is it enough to take a child away from his birth parents if he or she got access to a gun and then used it? Is that enough to meet that standard of abuse or neglect, as you say?
No, it would not be. It's the question of what roles the parents did have in this. Let's say the child was walking to school and found on the side of the road and then shot somebody. Then, of course, that would not be negligence on the part of the parents, or if another relative or another adult made it accessible. So this is why the investigation is so important, and the cooperation, of course, the family and school officials to determine what role what adult had in providing or making accessible this firearm, and then teaching this child how to use it. So I think we have to wait for law enforcement to dig deep into this and just stay updated, and also work on the changing the laws that we have in this country that make so many of these school shootings so prevalent in this society.
What I like what he said about this is obviously bringing some reality into the whole situation of now, if this, what happens to the parents of this 6-year-old child? Now, if this was some random situation where, and I doubt this was the situation, but like this this lawyer just said, if, let's just say the kid finds it on the side of the road, that's one thing, right? But we clearly know, we know for a fact that it's not that. Then, you know, if he found the gun on the side of the road, then he was saying, I don't see why the parents would get hit with some sort of charge or anything of that sort. But if it's something of, it's laying around their house, it's, you know, it's easily accessible, so on and so forth. Yeah, the parents could very well be looking at some serious charges. Thank God this teacher survived. She's alive. She is healing in a hospital right now. But at the same time, you got someone who let possibly this child have easy access to this gun. And of course, the ongoing question I'm going to be asking you guys here in a second, or I'm going to ask you guys now, which is obviously the other piece of the show, is should the parents be held accountable? Should they be catching charges for this crime that this 6-year-old committed? Because you got to remember, you have a 6-year-old arrested right now. God knows what this child understands, what he doesn't understand, but he clearly understood how to grab the gun, take aim, and fire. That is some serious stuff. So it does make you wonder, how much should the parents be getting? How much flack should the parents be getting right now? Let me continue with this. That's the question I'm throwing at you guys. So start percolating.
One quick question, because I know we have to go here, but are there civil options here for this victim in order to get justice in that way?
There may indeed be. We've seen cases where shooting victims have sued gun manufacturers. There may be civil liability against the parents or the individual that made the gun available to the child. There may be additional be action against the school district if they knew that this was a possibility for not having things as metal detectors or security or countermeasures in place. So there are legal options civilly, even if the criminal justice system is not able to remedy the situation.
My goodness, metal detectors for 6-year-olds, for kindergartners? Wow. Okay, that's Robert Patillo. Thank you very much.
My thoughts exactly. Whoa. Metal detectors for 6-year-olds? For kindergartners? That's some heavy ish, y'all. But at the same time, you now have a teacher that just got hit in the chest with a bullet. So what do you do? Again, what do you do in that situation? Teachers. That teacher, I don't think is going to be like, yeah, I'm going back to that school. I mean, unless she does, if she does, she's a soldier, and I give her mad props after she heals and all that. But at the same time, you're seeing now more and more teachers are quitting. Teachers are the teachers are dropping out of their jobs at alarming rates. Not only just because of lack of pay, lack of sufficient pay, because teachers don't make nothing, all right? They do this now solely for passion, love of education, and all that stuff. They don't make a doggone thing, okay? Some of these teachers are bagging groceries at your local grocery store. Real talk, on weekends, just to make ends meet. And they are parents. They have children. They have families to feed as well. So there's a lot of teachers that are just dropping, okay? Dropping their jobs. Real talk, because they don't get paid enough. Then on top of it, let's not forget their own safety. Safety is going straight out the window too. All of them are scared for their lives now, because kids are walking in with firearms. And I'm not even saying this now is something like in elementary school, for real though. We were talking about high school. Now we're talking about elementary school now. Where teachers who think the violence won't come into this school are actually showing up in the school. It's terrifying. They already have enough problems as it is, just being able to do what they love, have the funding to be able to get things, items, materials for their classes to educate these kids in a proper way. Now they have to worry about dodging bullets. It's ridiculous. And this is the reason why you have teachers dropping like flies as far as jobs, quitting their jobs. It's sad. It's absolutely sad. All right. It is absolutely sad. Sorry, I'm just seeing something here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, sorry, just read something, threw me off a little bit here. But the thing is that, listen, how are we going to find safety for our children, also safety for our teachers as well? That is the number one thing. We have people who are going into these schools doing unthinkable things. We have kids as young as 6 now pulling out weapons and doing God knows what. Okay? It's very, very, it's sad. It's frustrating. And there needs to be a remedy to this situation. But I will say this too. What's frustrating about this is that there was a warning sign. There was a warning sign a week ago. As soon as you heard anything about any child bringing anything, shiny gold bullets or not, if it was, I don't care if it was Nerf, it doesn't matter. Shouldn't that be looked into, investigated, or kids get scanned? I know that sounds crappy, and it sounds like these kids are prisoners in their own school, but at the same time, like I said earlier, there needs to be precaution, right? It's frustrating. I got one more video for you guys to take a look at.
Police say
I got another one for you guys. And this is obviously the one that really brings the question in for you guys about the parents catching charges if they shouldn't. Let's take a look at this one.
Police say the teacher that was shot at Rich Neck Elementary by a first grader is now in stable condition. However, there are still many questions about what will happen next to the 6-year-old that pulled the trigger. Chaos as parents looked for their kids at Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News Friday after a first grader shot a teacher with a handgun there during the school day. Police say the teacher is showing positive signs after sustaining life-threatening injuries. That first grader, a 6-year-old boy said to have shot her intentionally, is now in custody.
It's really shocking. You just don't see this happen in the legal system where you've got someone so young intentionally using a firearm against another person.
CBS 6 legal analyst Todd Stone says what happens next for the child is unknown. Per Virginia law, he cannot be tried as an adult, and he'd be too young to go into a detention center if found guilty in court. And finding guilt in a 6-year-old is a heavy burden for prosecutors to bear.
When you're talking about a 6-year-old, you've got a very, very undeveloped mind, and it's a difficult thing for the criminal system to give any sort of accountability to a 6-year-old mind.
Police have not shared where the gun came from or how the 6-year-old got a hold of it. The child could be removed from the home by social services, and the caretakers could be held legally responsible, but the worst criminal charge they could face is a misdemeanor.
The parents could be charged with a misdemeanor, which would be a maximum of 12 months in jail, and realistically, it's very fact dependent.
Stone says still, Virginia's laws that could hold them accountable and not the 6-year-old may be hard to apply.
It requires that you negligently allow access to a firearm and the child hurts someone under the age of 14. So that specific statute probably wouldn't even apply in this situation. So you would have to rely on a more general statute like contributing to the delinquency or neglect of a minor, which sometimes can be more difficult to prove.
Now, our CBS 6 legal analyst says the General Assembly could do something to tighten up Virginia law to prevent something like this from happening, but we'll have to wait and see if that will be introduced when they assemble later this month.
Interesting that the parents could literally just look at a misdemeanor, something as small as a misdemeanor, and that's it. And I keep wondering, is that something that's enough? And then it really, really depends on the amount of negligence on the parent's side. What happened? What's the storyline? What are like that lawyer just said? It all depends on facts. It depends on what actually happened here. It's which is frustrating because it makes you wonder, how's this kid being raised? That's one of the questions I have. How is this kid actually being raised? Is this kid being raised properly? Is there some sort of abuse going on in that household? So on and so forth. Is there some sort of negligence within the parents in their ability to raise this child and whatnot? Those are the questions that need to be answered, because let's be real. No kid, no 6-year-old that has an understanding of how seriously dangerous these guns are or these weapons are. No kid that's being raised in my personal opinion, that's being raised right and is getting the right parenting, is going to go and grab a gun and then run off into the school at 6 years old and do this to their teacher. And that may be a strong statement in my personal opinion. Okay. That may be a strong opinion, but at the same time, it still doesn't, the math ain't mathing with this. There's something obviously not good going on within that household as well. So it makes you wonder, is this kid just left on the side to fend for himself? Is he abused? Is he just being neglected? Then also, you got to wonder what's going on in that house as well. Not only just in how he is being raised, but how they treat these weapons as well. Are guns just laying around everywhere in the house? Are there just guns hanging everywhere? Do they glorify firearms in that house or not? Obviously, these are the many, many questions that need to be answered. And I'm going to say this too. Yes, I get it. It all depends on facts within how the child is raised, the relationship with the child to the parents, how the parents handled their guns. This could have been a situation where this kid got crafty, took a key to a lockbox, opened up the box, grabbed the gun, and ran off to school. That could have very well been the situation as well. We don't know. Okay. But at the same time, that is some information that could make or break what happens to the parents if they catch a charge or not. This is a 6-year-old boy, 6, that's now looking at some serious charges. And this is a very, very young child. So what happens here? What are they going to do? As far as the charging of this child, how is he going to be charged being 6 years old? Again, I still ask you guys, should the parents, let me add to this. Should the parents get the brunt of the punishment because of his age or not? I know he did the crime, so he should pay the time, right? But the parents may have allowed this type of behavior to happen, unless it was under their noses and they didn't know. But you know for a fact the truth will come out. The truth will definitely come out. Because that little kid is going to talk. That 6-year-old is going to go, yeah, I went and I did this and I got the key and I did that and blah, blah, blah. Or, yeah, daddy had it sitting on the coffee table and I just grabbed it and I put it in my book bag and I went to school. Watch. This kid doesn't understand about... This kid doesn't know about snitches get stitches. They don't know about that. They're going to talk about the truth. They're going to say the truth. At least I hope so. At least I hope so. Misty Fisher, thank you so much for the 10. When the government choose to make it illegal to spank children, they made their bed. Now having to lie in that bed with all these type of situations, too many children run their parents nowadays. You know what? Yeah, there's a lot of parents that are getting ran by their kids. Real talk. But then again, there's a lot of adults that would never pass. Like if you had to have go through a test to license to be a parent, all right? License to parent. A lot of these parents would fail miserably because I feel that there's a lot of parents out here that don't know how to parent. And I get it. Like, we all figure it out as we go. We're all not perfect. When you become parents, you figure it out as you go. But some people just don't know any better at all. And the other thing too is, when it comes to disciplining your child. I mean, that's on you how you want to raise your child. I mean, I just think that you have to be careful that it doesn't turn the discipline doesn't turn abusive. I'll say it, right? So I feel like there's a certain level of that, because it can be a very fine line that you can cross where it goes from a disciplinary action to an actual abusive action, right? And I think sometimes parents go a little too far with it too, right? So being able to have conversations with your children, communication, letting them know, don't touch this, man. Do not. Don't even try. You will get in serious trouble with me type situation. I feel like dialogue, communication is absolutely important. But I do think when it comes to, now this is where we're going into another conversation, but I do think that, spanking, like I said, spanking is, there's a fine line. And I think sometimes it gets a little bit it gets beyond past that line, right? If you get what I'm saying, when it comes to that side of disciplining your child, okay? But I do agree that nowadays, there is a lot that you can't, if you do anything, it's instantly looked at as that, okay? Looked at as abuse, which is why you see less of that going on, which is why you see maybe more parents getting ruled over by their children. But I don't know about this situation. To me, in this situation in general, I see this as a child that knows nothing, is not educated with the situation with these guns, has not had that dialogue with the parents, looked at it as a toy, took it to school because, I don't know, teacher angered him that much. I don't know. And decided to use it on this teacher, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Absolutely. And I don't think the amount of spanking or not spanking, this still would ended up happening because the parents did not have that dialogue with their child, period. Whether this child was disciplined in one way within conversation or with the paddle or the belt, I still think that this child would have acted the same way. Because the dialogue, the conversation, the understanding and the respect of that weapon was not instilled into this child at all. And this child thought that he can go and grab this and just do whatever he wants with it like it's a doggone toy, which is very, very frustrating and sad. Penny Williams, thank you so much for the 10. Home and school are two places kids should feel safe. I completely agree with you 110%. I don't like the idea of metal detectors in elementary schools, but if it keeps everyone safe, then it needs to happen. I feel the same way. I don't like kids feeling like they should be in prison either, but at the same time, if it means your kid comes back home in one piece, or your kid comes back home not traumatized, watching someone get hit with bullets, think about that. The trauma of a child witnessing something like that, period. Then I guess that's what needs to happen. I don't want that to happen. Oh my God. But if no one's out here teaching their kids, the responsibility and the seriousness of these weapons, they're not. So then I guess we're going to have metal detectors at some point everywhere. Watch there be metal detectors walking into a grocery store. Real talk. It's eventually going to happen because it's not changing. Things are just getting worse. Worse, y'all. Ay. Lateef, thank you so much. What's up, man? Thank you so much for the 10. Thanks for covering this, Pascal. Newport News is where I was born and bred. That's what's up, man. Rich Neck Road was stomping grounds. These guardians need to be held super effing accountable because this isn't parenting. Exactly. They are lacking the dialogue with their children. They are lacking the responsibility themselves of making sure that key, that lockbox, or that even that gun, if it was just strewn about in the house, was not properly put away so that kid did not get easy access to said gun. But guess what? That's exactly what happened. Whether it was laying out there or it was in a lockbox, clearly there was no dialogue between parents and child, in my personal opinion. Now I bet you the parents are gonna be like, yeah, we've been talked to our children, we've been talked to them, so on and so forth. We told them about everything. Really? So if he knew that, you realize the interesting pickle that the parents are in now, right? Listen to that one more time. And Lateef, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really do appreciate it. And these are facts right here. If the parents walk up and say, oh, yeah, it was locked away, blah, blah, blah. He went and did that, this, that, and the third. He got the key. He went over there. He got, you know what I'm saying? Say that is the truth. Say it's not. Say that they're doing it just to save their own ashes, okay? Now they're exposing their 6-year-old boy. Now they're saying it's premeditated. Just saying. Now that makes the situation even worse for their child. Rather than him just bringing out the gun and whatever, random. But if he went, grabbed the key, opened up the box, grabbed the gun that was, I guess, already loaded. But kids are smart nowadays. Maybe he loaded it himself, put the gun in his book bag, took it to school, got into an altercation with his teacher, I guess went over to his book bag or his desk, wherever said gun is, pulls out that weapon and pulls the trigger. If they say, oh, he did all this stuff, got the key and all that stuff, now they're showing that this could be a premeditated act of attempted M. That's not good for the kid. That's not. But it would save their asses, though. It would save them from getting a misdemeanor and possibly looking at a year behind bars. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff indeed. Purple Glitter Tears, thank you so much for the 5. I really do appreciate it. Did you hear about the 12-year-old who, wow, her 9-year-old bro then went and told her mother. This was yesterday in Tulsa. 9-year-old passed. Wow. I didn't hear about this one. I didn't. But what's up with our young ones, though? What's up with our young ones? Hamburger. What's up with our young ones, babies? Wow. See, that's scary stuff. That's some scary stuff, man. That's some scary stuff. My God. Yeah, man. Indeed, Lateef. Indeed. Okay? That's some scary, scary stuff. All right? Wow. Wow, wow. But yeah, that's insane, y'all. But again, we're seeing more and more younger and younger these kids are. We're seeing this more and more. These kids are getting younger and younger. The violence in these kids is getting worse and worse. Where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? And we could easily go straight. We can easily go straight into blaming the music videos and the songs and the video games and the movies and stuff like that. But it also comes down to the parents, y'all. It's how you're raising your kids. It's all that. It's all how you're doing the child rearing, period. You're teaching them right. You're teaching them to go forth in this world with a good heart and a good conscience and, hey, some wit about it. They will act right. They will do well. They will learn to become and grow to be young, to become great law-abiding citizens as they become adults. Because, I mean, let's be real. We can easily blame all the other things, all the surrounding stuff. But at the same time, those are all the surrounding stuff. It's the foundation in which you are instilling into your children. It's all at home. Yes, they're getting influenced at school. Yes, they're getting influenced everywhere else, but it's also what you are planting into their brains. It's that seed that you're planting into your children's brains. And if you're not planting anything into your children's brains except darkness or except more violence, what's going to happen? That's going to sprout into something. It's devastating to think that this is something that actually even happened. This didn't need to happen. This did not. Now, Abby Zwerner is now healing. She is still alive. Okay. But she shouldn't be in a hospital with a bullet wound, nursing a bullet wound in the chest. She is lucky to be alive right now. No teacher should ever experience anything like that. And no student should ever experience something like this ever. Everything, when it comes to your children, even when it comes to you, it all starts and ends at home. They wake up in the morning. You are pouring nothing but positivity, sunshine, and daffodils into your children, right? They go to school. They come back. Before they go to bed, before they close their eyes, they should feel the same type of energy. Talking to you about what they learned, so on and so forth. And you being able to instill the proper morals and the understanding of certain things like this is a weapon. This is a very dangerous weapon. You never touch this. And so on and so forth. It all starts and ends at home. Period. So we'll see what happens here. And Brianna, thank you so much. Yes, teacher is stable. Okay. The teacher is stable for sure. Sorry, I'm reading your comments here really quick. Raven McCall, you cannot love or hug a child too much. Like I said, it all starts and ends at home. Raise your child. But the thing is this is the problem. And I've talked about this a million times on the show before, on other cases and other stories that we've talked about on here. It's incredibly important. It's incredibly important to have dialogue with your kids. Really. Have a relationship with your kids. Healthy relationship with your kids. I mean, I understand you don't have to be best friends. You the parent, they the kid. Okay? But at the same time, you can still have a proper, healthy relationship with your children so that they can turn to you. At least in my mind, I have no kids, but at the same time, you want to bring that child up to know that they can come to you for anything, that they would want for nothing, right? That they are fulfilled if they feel lost or if they are having issues at home, at school, right? If there's any peer pressure of any type going on, if there's bullying, whatever, if the teacher's annoying them, so on and so forth, there needs to be that healthy dialogue, right? I'm saying this, you don't have to be their best friend. Okay, I'm not saying that. But they have to know that they can turn to you if things if they're feeling like they have nowhere else to turn. And if that dialogue is implemented early on in the relationship, man, it'd be amazing the how fruitful, how wonderful that relationship you're going to have with your child is going to be. And maybe they stay on the right path. I understand kids are kids. They're going to make mistakes. That's life, right? They're going to fall off the track. They're going to get back on the track, so on and so forth. That's just life. We've all done it, okay? No one in this chat is perfect, all right? No one is. But if you are able to open up and say, hey, son, daughter, whatever, hey, kiddo, you ever need to talk to me, you know for a fact you can rap with me anytime. That's the dialogue that you need to have. Same thing when it comes to weapons. Talking about things until it is like they remember it by rote. They got it so ingrained in their brain. All right, Dad, I understand that, this is not a toy, not to mess with it. Do not touch it ever, so on and so forth. If you touch this, it's your ass. Okay, period. Period. That's how it should be. You touch this, however, whatever the punishment may be, but it's something that you know for a fact. It's not something it's not something your kid wants to do. All right? But there needs to be some sort of dialogue, period. There does. And I don't think it happened with this kid. And that's the sad part. That's the very, very sad part. So we'll see what happens if they catch a charge or not. We will definitely see that because it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so, so very much. You guys have been really, really amazing and all that. It does mean a lot that you guys came through and are about a part of the conversation. Okay. Before I get going, be sure, let me kill this really quick. Hold on. Let me kill this really, really quick. Real quick, because I see a bunch of y'all in here. If you want to win $100, this is the last week, okay? Later on this week, we are going to be announcing the winner of the $100, so you still got a chance to win 100 smackers. So go hit that Swagit app. It's a brand new app, all right? Brand spanking new. Go hit that download link right there, pinned to the top of the chat right now, and is also underneath in the description box. Click that link, download Swagit app, follow me, The Pascal Show, one word, comment and like on some of my videos, all right? And you were instantly entered in to win 100 smackers. Again, click the link down below, or it's pinned to the top of the chat. Download Swagit app. Follow me, The Pascal Show, one word. Like and comment on some of my videos. That would really mean a lot. And you were instantly entered in for a chance for some new money in this new year. Simple as that. So simple. Man, so simple. So go and do that. That would really mean a lot, okay? So I will be on a little bit later on today. We got some Bryan Kohberger stuff that we need to talk about, etc. There's been a lot of new developing things over this past weekend. Wasn't able to come on this weekend, but I missed you guys. I'm glad to see you guys again on this wonderful Monday. And we will be covering some serious stuff about Idaho 4 throughout the rest of this week. We got the hearing coming up here too. So we got some stuff to talk about. I will be on in a couple hours, so be sure to tune in, hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live or whenever I upload a pop-up video, all right? Hit that like button down below. That would really mean a lot. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, all right? And I'll see you guys in the next show very, very soon, all right? Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. I'll see you guys soon. Can't talk today. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.